Hello, here with a review, one I'm very excited to finally be able to do. Council Skies from Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, their fourth album at last. At last, Noel's next album. Last time Noel released an album, I was 19, I'm now 25. I know he's released EPs, best of compilations, etc. in all that time, but it feels good to finally have a new Noel album. Anyway, first thing I'll do here, I will show you all the copies I own of Council Skies. Then I will give you some background information, and then I'll do a track by track review. So this first copy I have here is the Blood Records version. It's out of the 5,000 copies, this is 2,398, if you care what number I've got. Anyway, obviously you all know this is the front cover. Back cover with a picture of Noel, which I really like. Gatefold is, there you go, it's just literally the lyrics, which is always handy to have. I'll get the record out here as well. I've got this on the sleeve, Hope Beats Hate, really do like that. And then the personnel in full detail, which I really like. Love it when we get the personnel, but the record itself, look at that, isn't that beautiful? That's side 1 and side 2. That is, yeah, great. I bought previous Blood Record vinyls from Blood Records before, and they've been a mixed bag, to be honest, because sometimes they haven't fit. The hole's not been big enough to fit on my record player, but thankfully this one is. Anyway, I'll put that on there. Next thing I shall show you down here is from Noel's official store. It's another vinyl copy. This is the triple. If I can get it out, this is just on black vinyl. It's the front cover. Back cover is the same, except obviously it lists everything on the deluxe. Then when you open it up, you have smiley face and outtakes from the cover shoot. You open it up further, it's quite hard to hold, but that's got the lyrics. And then in terms of the sleeves, I won't get the records out, but I can get them out. This is the second disc. I'll put these away later, make it easier. And the third disc, there you go. I hope you've seen them. Right, I'll put all that away later. It's a bit of a pain in the arse to get things in and out of that one, the size of it. Also, because I bought that from Noel's store, I got this lyric print of Council Skies from back. Kind of don't like this, because why is it double-sided like that? You obviously can't frame it. Anyway, and I wasn't going to show this, but then I thought I might as well, which is this from Record Store Day last year. This is a single of it, a 7-inch single, limited edition thing, which includes 2 demos of We're Gonna Get There in the End and Trying to Find the World That's Been and Gone Part 1, both of which have obviously ended up on this album, so kind of relates to it, but some people might not think it does, but I think it does, so there you go, I've got that as well. So at the minute, that is everything Council Skies related. I haven't gone and bought another vinyl where you get the 7-inch single of We're Gonna Get There in the End and an acoustic Pretty Boy. Maybe I will, yeah. I'm aware Noel is in a chart battle at the minute with Foo Fighters, if anyone cares. But hopefully Noel wins, because Foo Fighters are a bit shit. But anyway, we're gonna... that won't be the first controversial opinion you might hear in this video. This is everything I've got to talk about. And as somebody once said to me a long time ago on a video, I don't even know if the comment's still there, but they went, all I do on these videos is read the Wikipedia article back to people. And sometimes, yes, that is where a lot of my information comes from. Sometimes it's from books, but in this instance, the Wikipedia article for Council Skies, I created it and I wrote most of it, because I've got nothing better to do with my time. The joys of no longer having a girlfriend. Anyway, this album, it was released on the 2nd of June 2023, that was last year. It was recorded, I believe, mostly in January of 2022. This is all kind of from Noel. I don't know if he still does, but he did a podcast with Matt Morgan for a while. And he said back in 2022 that this was in January time, he's entered into his studio to begin work on his next album, and he was more or less finished by the end of January. So that was the basic tracks, and then the strings for this album, because there's a lot of strings on this album, they were recorded in April 2022. The album itself, everything was recorded at Noel's own studio, which is called Lone Star. It's in London, with the exception of the strings, which was recorded at Abbey Road. You may have heard of it. The album itself is produced by Noel and Paul Stacey. Paul Stacey has worked with Noel for a very long time. I think they've gone as far back as Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. The album itself, it was written mostly in 2020 during lockdown. Noel apparently intended to have the year off. He wasn't intending to do anything in 2020. But since he found himself stuck in the house with nothing else to do, he ended up writing a very reflective album, which is what Council Skies is. So Noel has said in a few interviews this album is supposed to be a sort of counter-reaction to Who Built the Moon, the kind of way that Primal Scream like to counter-react their previous records. So obviously they did Screamadelica in 91. They followed that up with Give Out But Don't Give Up, which is very, very different to Screamadelica. And then they followed that up with something else completely different. So Noel seems to be taking that attitude where this is the counter-reaction to Who Built the Moon and the 3 EPs that followed it. This is also the first time that Noel has used his touring band on his album. Previously, when he's been in the studio and recorded High Flying Birds albums, I think Mikey Rose maybe appeared on all of them, but for the most part it's just been Noel on his own playing most things. But on this album, Chris Sharrock appears, Gem appears. I think this will be the first time Gem's recorded with Noel in the studio since Dig Out Your Soul. Russ Pritchard, Mikey Rowe, etc. They all appear. And Johnny Marr also features on 3 of the tracks. From memory, it's Pretty Boy, Council Skies, and Open the Door, See What You Find. I think they're the 3 tracks that Johnny Marr features on. As previously mentioned, there are strings on this album, and that is kind of this album's big thing that Noel kept mentioning. It is very orchestral. The strings themselves come from a group of people called the Wired Strings, and it is arranged by Rosie Danvers with assistance from Tommy Danvers, who I assume is her husband or brother, whatever. But yeah, it is very orchestrated, this album. Not every track, but yeah, when it is brilliant. The title itself, Council Skies, this comes from a book from Pete McKee, which is a book, I believe, of illustrations of characters on council estates. Noel seen it on a coffee table in his house and liked it, so it inspired the song, which has then gone on to inspire the album itself. This cover artwork here, this was taken by Kevin Cummins, and it features Noel's The High Flying Birds equipment that they use on tour, and this is taken at what was the centre circle of Main Road in Manchester on the council estate. The artwork's quite interesting because when I first seen it, I didn't like it. It has grown on me, but it kind of reminds me a bit of Don't Believe the Truth in terms of the style. The fact it's sort of black and just a black and white photo in the middle, but the borders are black. Yeah, and I didn't originally like this here. This is the first time Noel's put out a High Flying Birds album with a different logo. It's not actually got their logo on, which is that there. It's not got that logo on, which is it's not the end of the world, but yeah, it's just strange not having it. Yeah, so yeah, like I say, it reminds me of Don't Believe the Truth, the artwork a bit. The rest of the artwork, other than the cover, has been taken in locations which Noel associates with his youth and growing up on council estates. So yeah, they're all taken around Manchester anyway. So critically, the album has received a lot of praise from many critics. A lot of people are calling this Noel's best post-Oasis album, although I imagine he's getting to that point in his career now where most of his albums he'll put out, critics will say things like that about it. I haven't read any bad reviews about this album, to be honest, but to be fair, I don't really think there's much bad to say about it. There's been 5 singles released from this album in total. Pretty Boy, Easy Now, Dead to the World, Council Skies, Open the Door, See What You Find. 5 singles. Which brings me to probably what will be one of my very few criticisms of this album. Too many things, in my opinion, were released before this album came out. Kind of killed the anticipation and the hype for me, because of the 10 tracks, we heard 5 of them properly before release, plus a 6th one was released as a demo last year. So, kind of on the day it came out, we only had 4 new songs to look forward to, so it's kind of a shame, really. In my opinion, he should have released Pretty Boy, Easy Now, and Council Skies. Them 3 songs as singles and everything else be left. But obviously he needs to promote it. And yeah, just the way it is. But in my opinion, if I was in charge of things, there wouldn't have been as many singles from this. Anyway, like I said, the album itself, it is very orchestral, which Noel is very much pushing with this album. It's very orchestral, and I like it. I like the strings, and yeah, he's never really done strings, I don't think, that much on a record. In fact, is this the first time he's maybe used strings since Be Here Now? It could be. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble on here, so I think I shall dive into the track-by-track review. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to talk about the 10 tracks on the standard album, and then I will talk about some of the very exciting stuff on the deluxe edition of this album. But yeah, I'm just trying to think if I had anything else to say here at the beginning. I don't think I do. So yeah, if I do, I will bring it up later in the video. Anyway, track 1, we have I'm Not Giving Up Tonight. So straight off the bat, this is a wonderful opening track. The strings, they are prominent on this one. This was the first... No, it wasn't. We had Pretty Boy, obviously. But then after Pretty Boy, I think on Christmas Eve, last year, the strings were released. The sort of an early video was released on YouTube with the strings for this song. And they're brilliant. The strings, that's going to be a common trend on this album. I absolutely love the strings. It really does elevate this song in particular to a place it wouldn't be without them. And it's not just the strings, in my opinion, that make this wonderful. The vocals from Noel on this track are wonderful. These are some of my favourite Noel vocals. Noel has said in an interview that it took him over 20 takes to get the vocals right for this song, which I can imagine Noel not being the most patient of people when it comes to things like that. So the fact he kept going for 20 takes trying to get this right shows his commitment. But he has said he'll never play this one live, unfortunately, because it's too hard for him to sing. At least he's honest. He has also said on a few occasions now that he wishes this was the closing track of the album. I'm not sure I agree with that. I enjoy this as the opener. The fact that I'm not giving up tonight. I suppose there is the argument it could work as a closer, but it's like I'm not giving up, and the rest of the album is no not giving up tonight. It's maybe just me that sees it like that, but yeah, I don't think it would be as good as the closing track. I think of all the tracks on the album, this is the best one to be the opener. It also features his touring band. They're not on every track on the album, but this one does feature them. It's got Gem on it, it's got Chris Sharrock on it, Russ Pritchard, Mikey Rowe, Chris Sharrock, I think I've said, Jess Greenfield, etc. The track itself also is a leftover track from Who Built the Moon. Originally it was called Daisies for Who Built the Moon. I think it was more a synth heavy thing for Who Built the Moon, but it never got finished. There was never any lyrics, and then apparently during lockdown one day Noel was just sat at home strumming on his guitar, playing away at this one, just playing the chords, and the words came to him. So if you believe in magic, then perhaps that's magic, that the way the song just came to him fully formed. Must be incredible to be able to do things like that. Oh, to be a musician. But yeah, like I say, it's a cracking start to the album. It sets the tone brilliantly, and yeah, I really like I'm Not Giving Up Tonight. One of the highlights of the album for me. Right, track 2, we have the lead single from the album, Pretty Boy. Interestingly, if you listen on the vinyl, these songs flow seamlessly into each other, but for some reason on the digital versions, I don't know if it's an error that they'll fix, but after I'm Not Giving Up Tonight, it sort of just cuts off, and then there's like a 3-second silence, and it comes back into Pretty Boy, but you can kind of tell they're meant to flow into each other. Why it does that, I don't know. Anyway, this song, apparently it was the first thing he demoed for this album. It was the first song he then finished altogether for the album, which is why he made it the lead single. Interesting logic to make it the lead single. It was also apparently because he wanted to challenge his audience again. It's definitely the most untraditional Noel Gallagher song on this album. You know, after all the experimental stuff of Who Built the Moon and the EPs, this is much more in his traditional style, most of this album, which is, it is kind of a welcome return, to be honest. As much as I enjoyed the experimental stuff, it is good to have him back doing his traditional style of acoustic guitar recordings. But this one is the most far out the album gets. It has got a drum machine on it. It is probably going to challenge a lot of people. There will be a lot of people out there that don't like it. And I'll be honest, when I first heard this song, I didn't like it. I was quite underwhelmed. I don't think it helped that before this album came out, for a good year and a half, Noel had been saying, my next album is going to be very orchestra heavy. It's going to be very string heavy. And I was very excited, and then Pretty Boy comes out and there's no strings on it and it's not orchestrated at all. And I was like, oh, is that a lie? Thankfully, this song though it's kind of an ugly duckling on the album. There's nothing else like it. Maybe ugly duckling's not the right way of phrasing it, but there is nothing else like this song on this album. It's an anomaly. That's the word. He's also said a few times that it sounds a bit like The Cure. Robert Smith has done a remix of it. I'll get to the remixes later on, very briefly. But yeah, it does sound a bit like The Cure. Like I said, this song, I didn't really like it at first, but I stuck with it and it's grown on me. And I've got to say now, I really like it actually. I find it proper catchy. It's also probably the closest thing, as I've said, to Noel's most recent previous work. Stuff like Who Built the Moon, Black Star Dancing, This Is the Place, all that experimental stuff. And Johnny Marr, as I said earlier in the video, he's playing guitar on this. He adds that iconic flavour that he brings to things, his iconic guitar playing. Yeah, really good. Yeah, decent tune, Pretty Boy. Right, track 3, Dead to the World. Best track on the album. Not only best track on the album, this is one of Noel's best ever songs in my opinion. So this song, I think Noel first mentioned it back in 2020 in a podcast with Matt Morgan, and he was going around on it saying, this is the best song I've ever wrote, which automatically then gets your expectations high. And Noel does have a tendency to keep saying every time he puts a new song out, this is the best song I've ever done, and you're never sure if he actually means it or not, or he's just trying to promote it, but he does keep saying how much he loves this song, and I actually do think he's genuinely meaning it with this song. I do genuinely think Noel genuinely loves this song. He says it's his favourite on the album. It's my favourite on the album too. It is just an absolutely brilliant piece of music. The strings on this are absolutely dreamy. They're very beautiful. Yeah, it's so orchestrated, this song. The vocals as well, they're beautiful. Noel was doing a falsetto, which I don't think he's ever really done that much, if he's ever done it at all. And maybe... I'm trying to think when he's done falsetto. He's kind of done it when he's been harmonising with himself in the past, but I don't think he's ever done it as a lead vocal. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but yeah, it's just a great vocal, this song. It's also apparently a very personal song to him. That's as much as he said. He's not said what it's about from his personal perspective. You can probably presume with what's going on in his personal life with his divorce, it's probably about his marriage falling apart. If love ain't enough to make it alright, leave me dead to the world. It was also partly inspired by fans in Argentina. This is the second verse where Noel's singing, I'm gonna write you a song, it won't take me long, you can change all the words but you'll still get them wrong. What it is, Noel stays in this hotel in Argentina, and because Argentinians are proper fans, unlike us English people, they will spend 24 hours camped outside his hotel singing Oasis songs, but obviously English isn't their first language, so they get all the words wrong. So while Noel is recovering from his jet lag, he'll be sat there listening to Argentinians outside, sort of getting Oasis songs right. But yeah, there's no drums on this song either, which is pretty unique. There's not many songs really ever that doesn't have drums on them. I also love the R's, the kind of heavenly, the R's, the backing vocals. They're really good on this one. And there's an accordion solo, which I don't think Noel has ever had an accordion solo on any of his songs before. So here's the first and possibly only time you're going to hear it. Yeah, wonderful song. Dead to the World. If there's one song anyone listens to from this album, it is this one. It is just, it's a masterpiece. It is probably never going to be done live, Noel has said, because it would not work without the orchestra. But it's an incredible piece of music. I really, really like it. Right, after that, track 4, we have Open the Door, See What You Find. Right, I'm going to talk about strings again. Can you tell I like the strings? The strings on this song are brilliant. They are this song. They're wonderful. They are what makes it. The song itself, to me, it sounds very 60s with its lyrics and its strings. Yeah, I just find it really catchy. It's a fun song. It's probably the most fun song on the album, this one. It makes you smile, and I like it when a song makes you smile. Now the strings themselves, the actual melody, the do 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 do, that tune, it sounds like the sort of thing like surely that has been used before. Surely someone has made a song using that arrangement. But I can't think of it. It's a bit like Yesterday, where Paul McCartney dreamed it, and then when he woke up, he assumed that I must have heard this song somewhere. I must know it from somewhere, but it wasn't. He was the first. It kind of feels like that. Not that I'm comparing this song to Yesterday, but it feels like this tune, it must exist somewhere, but I can't think of anywhere where this tune does exist. This structure of a song. Yeah, apparently Nola said the song is about accepting who you are. It's when you look in the mirror and you just see yourself and think, yeah, that's who I am. Fair enough. Although the lyrics as a whole on this song, they seem a bit irrelevant. This seems like one of those songs where it's the tune itself which is more important. Yeah, just a fun song. Good chorus. Open the doors, see what you find. Apologies. Imagine it'll be good live, this one. Probably, it'll be good fun. Although I don't think he'll be taking an orchestra on tour with him. It will come from a keyboard or a synthesizer. But it'll still be good fun. Right, track 5. Trying to Find a World That's Been and Gone, part 1. So this song, it was released as a demo back, is it New Year's Eve 2021 or New Year's Day 2022? It was one of those days. And yeah, obviously the demo has been around now for quite a long time. We've known it for a while. So we've seen it on the track listing here and we thought, I'm going to get the finished thing. I cannot tell you what the difference is between the demo and this version. I'm assuming the demo uses a synthesizer or a keyboard for the strings and this is an actual orchestra. I assume that's the difference, but otherwise it sounds exactly the same. But nevertheless, the tune itself is a wonderful piece of music. It's only about 2.5 minutes long, so it's the shortest song on here. But it's one of the best. When I first heard the demo, I didn't really care for it. It was maybe because of where I was in my life at that point. But recently, in recent months, I've found myself listening to the demo quite a lot and relating to it. So to have it here again on the album, it's nice. Yeah, it's a really relatable tune for me personally at the moment. It was written during COVID when Noel felt like we would never get out of the house again and start mixing. When it was probably at its worst, when everyone was a bit fed up. Yeah, he's also said though it's kind of got a dual meaning to it. It could be about a breakup, so he's using the COVID thing, but it's maybe about his marriage breaking down. I think he has also described this one as quite a personal song. Now obviously the big thing with this song is it says part 1 at the end, but if you look at the track listing, part 2 is nowhere to be seen. So Nola said apparently part 2 originally was going to feature drums and a bigger production, probably more guitars and stuff on it. But he scrapped it. He had a change of heart and went back to the original idea of the demo, which was part 1, and just sort of stuck with that. He felt that got the message of the tune over better than a more complete version, shall we say. It's a beautiful song. It is quite a moody song. Yeah, that is a good word to describe it, moody. But it is also very Noel Gallagher. Lyrically, it just stinks of Noel Gallagher. Great song. And it also flows very nicely into Easy Now, which was the second single of the album. And for most people, if you ask most people out there, they will probably say this is the best song on the album. And that will be because it is the most Oasis sounding song on the album. It's the most Oasis sounding thing Noel has done for quite some time. He's compared it as well to the likes of Little by Little and The Master Plan. Yeah, I can kind of hear that. Although Little by Little is a tune I've never massively cared for, to be honest. Master Plan, obviously a brilliant song, but Little by Little, better live. Don't like the recording of Little by Little. But he's compared those songs to this one, and I can kind of hear the similarities, to be fair. But yeah, obviously, it's the most Oasis sounding song of the whole album, and Noel has said a few times that normally if he starts writing a song that sounds like Oasis, he will consciously stop and not go any further with it. But on this instance, he felt the song was that good, he kept following through with it. Now, because it's Oasis sounding, you will get the ever boring people on the internet who will go, it's good, but it sounds better if Liam sang it. It just wouldn't, though. It just wouldn't. But anyway, it's a great chorus, I think, this song. The I'll be there bit sounds like it's I'll be there, I'll wait for you, I swear. That bit sounds like it is just designed for a crowd to sing live. It is Noel doing the sort of thing that he is best at. You know, he is still the best in the world at this style of song. Liam and his army of songwriters, they can try, but when Noel wants to try, they're not in his league. Apparently Noel wanted Dave Gilmour of Pink Floyd to feature on this tune and play the guitar, but Mr. Gilmour was not having it. He didn't want to do it. Noel was even apparently practically begging him to do it, but he wouldn't have it, so he got Paul Stacey to do it instead and told Paul Stacey to play the guitar like Dave Gilmour would, which he did. I imagine this song will be played for many years to come. It'll probably be a staple of Noel's set list now. It'll always be there. It's a good tune, easy now, to be fair. It is Oasis sounding, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm pleased it's not a full album of stuff like this, because it would just be an Oasis tribute act. And if I wanted that, I'd go and listen to the other fella. But it's nice to hear that Noel can still do it if he wants to. Anyway, after that we have the title track, Council Skies. I really like this song. When I first heard it, I was a bit, I wasn't expecting that, but it's grown on me. Apparently Noel wrote this one in Ibiza, of all places. The title, as I've said earlier, it came from a book that Noel seen on his coffee table at home. I should say, when he was in Ibiza, and I think that's where the tune came to him, and he maybe some of the verses. He said he had the verses for years, but he didn't have the chorus. The chorus came when he seen the name Council Skies on that book of Pete McKee's, and then I think he rewrote the song a bit to fit around that theme of Council Skies, and then obviously the whole album followed on from that, so it set off a chain of events, as they say. There are strings on this song. This is the last song on the standard album that features strings, and they are wonderful on this tune. They're a bit more subtle on this one, but yeah, the song again, it wouldn't be the same without them. The song itself is about trying to find young love in the big bad city, which isn't that what we're all trying to do? It's really catchy, this song as well, especially during the taking the long way home bit. Yeah, I really like that bit of the song. I imagine the song, it'll be great live, and it's very Noel Gallagher. Once again, the lyrics, they're very hopeful. Yeah, Council Skies, good track. Right, track 8, There She Blows. So this song, it was first mentioned again on the Matt Morgan podcast. Noel mentioned he had written a song called There She Blows. And initially I thought he was joking, because over the years Noel's said a few times in jest that he wants to make an album and call it Wheat is Murder or Dark Side of the Room and stuff like that. So I thought, when he said I have a song called There She Blows, that was a joke. He was like, obviously There She Goes by the Lars. I thought he was like a play on words for that, but no, it turns out he was being serious, and here it is. And do you know what? I absolutely love this song. This is one of the standout tracks of the album, to be honest. It was apparently inspired by a book that Noel saw while he was in LA working on something or another with Dave Sardy, and the book was The Old Man and the Sea, and that's why the song has a bit of a nautical theme to it. The song itself as well, it's very bass driven. It's driven by the bass and the drums. Noel is playing the bass on this song, and I think, have I got the wrong track? Wrong track. I've read my notes too far ahead. The bass is excellent on this song, and it's coming from Russ Pritchard, so take a bow, Mr. Pritchard, even though I've just confused you with Noel. The vocals are great on this track as well. It's some of my favourites on the album. I love the way how Noel is harmonising with himself. It's kind of like a lower tone, a lower register, I think, on his vocal abilities, his vocal range. And yeah, he doesn't sing this low very often, but when he does, it's very menacing sounding. I like it. I love the change of tone in the last verse, when it's searching the seven seas of love. At the end, when it kind of goes a lot quieter and kind of hear the sea shanty vibes and stuff. Again, this song, it's kind of a bit like Pretty Boy in the sense that it's different to the rest of the album, but I wouldn't say it's far out or anything experimental. It's just not like the rest of it. There She Blows, strongly recommend this song. Really, really like it. Right, Love Is a Rich Man's next. If you put this on for the first time, you'll think you've put the wrong album on and you're listening to I'm the Resurrection by the Stone Roses, because the drums sound exactly the same in the intro. I imagine it's intentional, that. Now, I was talking to Ross Goodall the other day on Instagram about this song, and Ross was saying this is his favourite on the album. I won't say what else he said, because I imagine Ross is going to review this album at some point, and I don't want to spoil what he says, but go and check out his video. If I remember, I'll put a link to his channel down below. I'm not sure when he's going to upload his video. He might have uploaded it before I upload this one. But yeah, go and check his review out. Hear what he's got to say. Be a great video, I'm sure. But yeah, it's Ross's favourite track, but on the contrary, this is probably my least favourite track on the album. And I don't know why, it just hasn't hit me as much as the other ones. Perhaps it would be different if there hadn't been 5 singles from the album. Otherwise, I imagine Pretty Boy would have been the one that didn't hit me the most. But because I'd heard most of the album, let's be honest, before it came out, and this was one of the few tracks that had been held back for release day, it was the one that kind of underwhelmed me the most. But it is growing on me, and I'm not saying I don't like the song. I do like the song, I just don't like it as much as the rest of the album. Noel said he wrote this song while he was riding his bike. There's a thought, Noel Gallagher on a bike. Although there was pictures of him for a while. I think it was during lockdown. Was it during 2021? There was pictures of Noel riding about on a bike. Yeah, he looked like he was having the time of his life. I love the part of it's the chorus, I think, where he's singing "You can run and hide," etc. It's sort of got a Bowie vibe to it as well, a kind of 1980s David Bowie vibe. If you know what I mean, you'll know what I mean. It's also got a marimba on it. You gotta love a marimba. Marimbas, you know, under my thumb, that sort of thing. Yeah, I love a good old marimba. Vocals and guitars on this song are also really good. Yeah, like I say, least favourite on the album, but it's still a good song. Right, after that, track 10, we have the closing track, Think of a Number. Great closing track, this. Noel has said that he wishes that this was the opening track of the album, and that I'm Not Giving Up Tonight was the closing track, so swap them two around. Again, I disagree. I think this is better as the closing track. I think it'd work better here. I don't think it would be a great opening track. Noel has said that this is a very personal song to him. He's even called this song quite bleak. I'm not quite sure what he means by bleak. If I'm thinking of a bleak song, I'd think of Trying to Find a World That's Been and Gone. Not this one. But the song itself, it features a piano solo, a guitar solo, and then a third instrumental break. So that doesn't happen very often on a Noel song. You normally get a single guitar solo, and that's about it. This is what I was misread before. The bass line on this song comes from Noel, and the drums come from Chris Sharrock, so the two of them were playing it together, and I think that's where the song itself came from. They kind of built it up from that. I love the lyrics as well on the chorus of this song. The "Forgive my indecision, I don't know what I should do, I need time to think because it's such a cruel world," and the stuff about the girl on the television and stuff. The closing lyric of this, the last lyric on this song, which is also the closing lyric of the album, "Let's drink to the future, I hope it comes around again." What a Noel Gallagher lyric. What a hopeful, typical Noel Gallagher lyric. It's great. Yeah, I really like Think of a Number. I think it's a great closing track to a great album. So that is it anyway. That is the standard album. That is Council Skies, Noel's 4th album. Worth the wait for sure. I just hope going forward it's not another 5.5 years, 6-year wait, whatever it's been. But yeah, in terms of where it ranks on Noel's catalogue of albums, the 4 he's done, definitely a better album, I think, than Who Built the Moon. I'm still trying to work out, though, where it slots into with the other ones. For me, Chasing Yesterday has always been my favourite solo Noel album. I know for a lot of people it'd be the self-titled debut, because it was obviously what was going to be the next Oasis album. But for me, this is really, really battling to take the crown of my favourite Noel Gallagher album. I think it's his most collective, his most... collective's not the right word, his most... I've forgotten the word. But his most inclusive. It includes it's got a bit of everything for everyone. You've got your Oasis sounding stuff with Easy Now. You've got your typical High Flying Birds sounding stuff with something like Council Skies. And you've got your experimental stuff with things like Pretty Boy. But yeah, that is the standard album, but of course the Deluxe features extra tracks, which we're going to talk about now. So the first one of those is Don't Stop. Bri, if you're watching this, hope you're keeping well. This song's you. This one's for you. Yeah, this song, in my opinion, it should have gone on the album because it is utterly brilliant. Yeah, I was amazed when I heard this, because obviously it was released as a demo. Well, the story of it was first heard in a sound... I've jumped the gun there. Noel wrote this song in 2005, 2006. It was then played in sound checks at Oasis gigs in around 2006, I think, in Hong Kong. And then I think it was also played somewhere in a sound check on the Dig Out Your Soul tour in 2009. And then it was kind of just forgotten about. And then in April 2020, when Noel was locked away at home like the rest of us, he found an old CD that had the demo of this on, and he put it out in April 2020. So the demo has been around now a couple of years. And Noel seems to have taken that demo here and built on it to give us this finished thing with backing vocals and strings. I didn't expect when this was on the track list that any of the bonus tracks would have an orchestra on them. This is the only one that does. And it takes this song to a whole new level. I adore this song. Yeah, like I say, the vocals and the guitar just seem to be taken straight from the demo, but everything that's been added to it just takes it to an all new level. And that little riff in the middle from Dig a Pony, a little reference, I think. Yeah, I think it is the Dig a Pony riff. Do 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 do. Yeah, that's still there, which I'm pleased about. These lyrics are precisely why I love Noel as well. They're just hopeful. Don't stop being happy. Don't stop clapping. Don't stop laughing, etc. It's just brilliant. And Noel's voice sounds brilliant on this as well. Now, I'm aware of all this AI business at the minute, and people are going around altering High Flying Birds tunes to have Liam sing them so we could hear what it sounded like as an Oasis song. And within hours of this being released, someone had done it to this song with Liam singing it. And my God, thank God Oasis aren't together, because Noel sounds so much better singing this, in my opinion, than Liam does. There has been a couple of songs where I thought, oh, Liam sounds alright singing that. But this wasn't one of them. Yeah, thank God Noel's singing it. I will be listening to this song for many, many years to come. Certainly will. Don't stop you laughing. Don't stop being happy. Right, track 12. We're going to get there in the end. Again, demo that was on this, released New Year's Eve 2020. Yeah, and it kind of exploded, that demo. It got a lot of fans, got a lot of praise. People were really excited to hear the finished thing, because after all the experimental stuff that Noel had been doing, this was traditional Noel Gallagher. It was the first traditional Noel song we'd heard, new traditional Noel song we'd heard for quite some time by that point, since at least 2015. It adds, in terms of, it's done the same thing I think as Don't Stop, where Noel has just taken the demo and then added to the demo, so the vocals, the guitars, etc. are all just from the demo. But it has added more to it, and it's added precisely what I think the demo lacks, which is a horn section. Yeah, the horns take this song to another level. It's exactly what it was missing. Now, it's a bonus track on here, even though it was put out as a demo, and everyone assumed it would be on the album. But Noel has said that he didn't want it on the album, and I think he only recorded it because his record label, even though it's his own record label, kind of made him do it. But he put it on as a bonus track because he felt it didn't fit the theme and the tone of the rest of the album, which I do agree with. If this song came on playing halfway through the regular album, it wouldn't fit. But as a bonus track, it works fine, and it's great to have because it's brilliant. Now, it is missing something, and in my opinion, what it lacks is, when he's singing the line, if you think that your faith is enough and the weight that you carry is love, you're spending too long inside, take a walk outside. The song itself quietens down, and it just sounds exactly like the demo on the record here. What it needed there, this is my opinion, is a choir, just a very subtle choir. We've got sort of doing ahs and oohs in the background while Noel's singing that bit. I just think it would have perfected what is a near perfect song. Noel's touring band also features on this song. Gem's on it, Chris Sharrock's on it, Russ Pritchard's on it, etc. And the lyrics, they're just very Noel Gallagher. They're very hopeful. We're going to get there in the end, aren't we all? Right, track 13. The biggie for a lot of people, Mind Games. Oh, what a brilliant cover. So on what would have been John Lennon's 80th birthday on October 9th, 2020, Noel uploaded a 60-second sort of clip of him singing Mind Games to his social media accounts. And everyone was like, oh, this is brilliant, when we're getting the full thing. Nothing. We heard nothing for ages, and then Noel eventually did say, oh, it's gonna be on this album. It's gonna be on his new album. And here it is, finally, at last. This brilliant, brilliant cover of Mind Games. What a great cover. The anticipation for this song has been, it's been huge. The amount of people, I imagine, me included, that have just kept listening to that original 60-second clip on repeat again and again and again and again since it came out is probably quite a lot of us. But we don't need to anymore because we've got the finished thing. The guitar on this, it sounds quite a bit like All the Young Dudes at the beginning. All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople. Noel sings this song brilliantly. It works really well with Noel singing this. Although I do miss it having the proper intro, so the intro, whatever that instrument is at the start of Mind Games. It hasn't got it here, and I kind of miss it. But it doesn't make it a bad cover or anything. It's just, it would have been nicer to have it. I imagine I'll be listening to this cover many, many years from now, and I do wish Noel would do an album of covers because he's brilliant at them. And you think of all the great covers he's done over the years. I mean, stuff like, he did a brilliant cover of There Is a Light That Never Goes Out a while ago now. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a covers album from him. But anyway, that is it for the 3 bonus tracks. Then we have, I think it's 4 instrumental tracks. There's no reason really to have them. I think it's Pretty Boy, Think of a Number, Dead to the World, and I'm Not Giving Up Tonight, I think. Maybe. Might be wrong. Anyway, I don't really see the need for them. And then there's the remixes. I'll be honest, I've not really listened to them because I don't care for them. I'm aware Pretty Boy has been remixed by Robert Smith of The Cure. The Pet Shop Boys have done a remix of Think of a Number. David Holmes has done a remix of I'm Not Giving Up Tonight. And the Reflex, I think, have done a remix of Council Skies. If you want to hear people's thoughts on that and remixes, I imagine there'll be people talking about them online. This isn't the place for that, I'm afraid, though, because I'm not interested in them. What I am interested in, though, is the 3 tracks plonked right on the end of the album, which is 3 live Radio 2 sessions that Noel did back in 2021. He did 3 tunes, the first one being Flying on the Ground. Now, if you watch my review of Back the Way We Came, which was the compilation album Noel put out in 2021, I said that I don't really like this. I didn't like this song as much as We're Gonna Get Run Our Way Now. I was talking rubbish. It turns out I absolutely love this song. I think it's the best. It's the better of those 2 songs. Yeah, it's just a really catchy song. Now, in terms of this stripped back version here, I wouldn't listen to this version personally over the other one, the actual proper version of it, because this version lacks the horns, in my opinion. But it's still nice to have. Noel sings it brilliantly, and the backing vocals are all still there. They're all still fabulous. After that, we've got a cover of You Ain't Going Nowhere. This is a Bob Dylan cover. It is yet another classic example of somebody covering Bob Dylan better than Bob Dylan did his own thing originally. The organ is absolutely fabulous on this song. It's kind of what makes it. Noel's vocals are brilliant, and again, I'll be listening to this cover for many years to come. I'd never heard the original by Bob Dylan before this, and it's a very different song really to the version Noel did. Noel sped it up a bit, and I think it works better faster. And then the main event for a lot of people, Live Forever, this live Radio 2 version. What a version. This is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to say something very controversial here, so just prepare yourself. Live Forever on Definitely Maybe is now redundant. I don't want to listen to that anymore. If I want to listen to Live Forever, this will be the version I listen to. This is better than the Oasis recording of it. Noel sings this one better than Liam. Calm down, it's just my opinion. Yeah, Noel, he sings this wonderfully. He's said for years and years that the reason he doesn't sing it is he can't do it justice like Liam. And that's true on the way the original is recorded. But Noel has found a way to reinvent this song, and he's reinvented it in a way that's perfect for him and a way that is sounding better than the original. yeah, you can't beat the songwriter singing his own song, really, because the emotion in his voice, it's something that no one else can articulate, because he's the only one who truly knows what it's about, really. If you're a Liam fanboy, then you won't like this, because it's not Liam singing it. But you're missing out, to be honest. But it's a brilliant cover, and it's one, yeah. Like I say, I can't wait to see Noel do it live when I see him later this year. I just think it's going to be wonderful. And that is Council Skies, a wonderful collection of songs from Noel. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's nice to finally have it. I hope we don't wait for as long for the next one. If you haven't heard this album, I highly recommend giving it a listen. And yeah, that's about all I've got to say for now, I think. So I'm not sure how long I've gone on here, probably for a very long time. But if you've made it all this way through, thank you very much for watching. I do genuinely appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you very soon for another review. Bye for now.